And just like that, it's Wednesday night. We're back
already, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, it seems like it was just yesterday, right?
Right.
But yeah, and my eyes are still freaking swollen and painful. Oh my god, man! So allergies be damned. I guess getting old sucks more than usual. But we have a regular Wednesday night crowd in here.
Nice.
And there's been a lot of awesome things happen this week. I think we should talk about some things that I've seen trending here lately, and that is the price of muscle cars coming down.
It is?
Yes. The price of cars are coming down, and that's because we're starting to uninflate them. So imagine that.
Really? Because I got to tell you, around here, I've been looking up like just regular darts, and a 4-door dart is still going for about $7,500.
That's ridiculously high. Today, I looked at a 4-door 1962 Buick Special that had 38,000 original miles on it for $3,800.
That's what it should be.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Let's run through the list of who all was here. Of course, Mr. Lars was here. First things first at 12:26, right after I posted this up. And then let's see. Mr. One-Eyed Cat is here. Bobby Frizzell says, looking forward to the live. Danny Boyd was here way early at 2:21. KS Skyhawk, he was here right before the live started. Indecisive Garage. Michael Schmidt, SSR Performance, otherwise known as the James and James Show, previously known as the James and James Show. What's up, gang? Let's see. Clayton's Toolbox. Unity Motorsports Garage is in here ringing the bell. Fab Race Mod Repeat. Ron English is here. Not Don, not to be confused with Don, but Ron. And Mean Street Mopar. Buff Del Campo. Mama M3. Colleen Tebow is here. Let's see. And I think that's it. I'm already caught up.
Nice.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's not usually this, I don't know, like simple. It's usually a lot more complicated. But we haven't got any questions yet, so I haven't got distracted yet. But yeah, I've been watching the market trend here the past couple of weeks, and the prices of muscle cars are coming down. Now, they're just looking at the big picture of muscle cars, you know, Mopar, E-body, anything with a Hemi, LS7 or LS6 stuff. Your typical, you know, Super Cobra Jet deals. But when they drop, like, say, 10%, that generally applies to the 1967 Dart 4-door, 10%. So whatever the normal price is, 10% less. So, you know, $3,800 and 10% off that would be $380. So about $3,500 is what you're looking at. This is where they should be
not
falling.
so much around here. Like I was just telling you, it's like $7,500, man. Just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how shit goes these days. I don't understand it. It's like I don't know. Well, you know what's really funny is stuff from the 90s is absolutely dirt cheap and has no value. So
go get your square body.
I don't get it, man.
You know, before we get started here, I'm not going to rebuild that turbo. I literally I took it I just did my own little testing on it. There's no play in the shaft. It spins freely. I'm just going to let her eat, dude.
Just clean it off and fucking send it.
I am going to send it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and if you don't want to send it, I'll put it on a 300 Buick.
Oh, I'm going to send it.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. But it took you a long time just to find one.
Yes.
Like how long were you asking me about that? For like a year? And then one day on Marketplace, it just popped up.
2 years. Actually, when I got Plan Z is when I started talking about finding a turbo. Actually, you're the one that told me about it. I was looking for a suck-through turbo, and I was going to get one for a Volkswagen. And you're like, just get the one for the Pontiac. So I was like, oh, bitchin'. So I've been looking for one ever since then. That was literally 2 years ago.
That was probably the biggest turbo out of all of them. That was a suck-through computer or a suck-through carburetor setup.
Yeah.
But, dude, I still think you should put a Q-Jet on it. Q-Jet's my new favorite, man. Like, I was trying to show you that video before, but
yeah,
we'll get to it. Yeah. And Colleen saying I'm here dropping F-bombs. I'm back. I don't know if I'm back, but I'm upright and happening. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you know what? And Andy's trying to remind everybody, hit that like button. You guys need to That's it. We're not going any further. We're going to become statues until you all go smash the like button, all 26 of you at the moment.
Hey, you know that I'm doing this 318, and I think my longest video that I'm ever going to make is actually coming up on Saturday, which I might do a premiere for. I'm not sure, but it's going to be Saturday night. It's literally every oiling trick that I've ever learned in my life, building these things and blowing them up for a solid flat tappet. It's literally a step-by-step, what tools to use, what to do, drill here, how to do this, how to do that. This is for Unity Motorsports. This is going to be for Andy. This is the St. Jude giveaway engine right here. So yeah, so that's going to be dropping on Saturday. So I should have that soon.
Man, I'm laughing not at you.
Yeah.
Bobby Frizzell says, I've got right here. I've got a Q-Jet I'll give you, but I don't think they're worth the price of postage.
It is true. I agree with you, Bobby.
Man, wish I could just. Hey, I got a new video coming out Friday. I'm going to release it on Friday. I will have a short out tomorrow to let everybody know that Friday, the video coming out is the dyno results from the EZ302.
Oh, is that a way? Is that a good way to do it? Do a little short on what's dropping on what
That's
day?
what I'm going to do. I think you already did one, didn't you?
Well, I've been kind of doing them as I go, like, hey, like little teasers of what I'm doing, like not showing how to do it, just little things.
I think I'm going to release my the video of the secondaries coming open on the EZ on the dyno. That's when you're going to know shit's about to get serious on YouTube. Yeah.
You know what? I totally forgot that I did that. That I made a video saying it's going to drop Saturday night.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Yeah,
I saw it this morning.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me what I just did.
Yeah, no problem. Andy says a badass 318 coming soon, 7,000 RPM screamer.
Dude, this thing's going to be good to 7,500, $8,000. Everything that's in here is exactly what's in that. In the Cookie Monster, the only difference is there's no concrete in this one. Other than that, all the oiling mods are the same. And your oil pump sitting right here, and I'm going to blueprint that for you. And then your main bearings will be here Friday. So I'll do the oiling on the saddles and on the mains, and they're the full groove P style bearings, so they're the performance ones. And dude, it's gonna be awesome.
Just had an idea, man. You know what? Do you think you can buy a metal table somewhere that has wheels on it? I wonder if that's a thing. Marketplace, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that where you find something like that? Metal table.
Absolutely.
Didn't they used to say Bob Glidden used to assemble engines on a metal table?
That's the best way to do it.
That way it has no flex on the block when you put it together, right?
Yep. Yeah. So like, if you guys can see here, if you look, see this right here, that's 1/8 inch steel reinforced underneath, and I assemble engines up on here too. So yeah, whenever you torque down the heads and stuff, it's the best way to do it too, is right there.
Oh, never mind. I saw one. It's like, looks like a brand new table, welding table and shop table, and it is $1. Then I look and it says custom built tables made to your spec.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, scammer. I was just looking for a table that already pre-existed. I could show up and just take it off your hands. But I'll have to figure something out.
Clayton's Toolbox is asking me a question, and I have the easiest answer for it. It'd be a Honda K series, either a K20 or K24. 100%. I've built so many of those engines, and 350 streetable NA horsepower is really, really, really easy out of that. I've seen them to 450 in race mode and almost 500 horse in race mode, but it's still naturally aspirated on regular gas, like not even nitromethane. On nitromethane, we had a K series that went, I think it was to the tires was 850 or 900 horsepower on a K series. And then a B series, we were just a little bit less. So for me, it'd be a Honda K series all day long.
I'll answer it in just a second. I want to get to this one that I didn't intentionally skip. I just was busy being lazy looking at metal tables to see if you could actually purchase one on Marketplace. But D150 says, I've always used a Holly Blue Pump in regular. I just purchased a Moroso fuel log with a return to tank ability. Have you heard of these, and what are the pros and cons?
Pros on a fuel log are awesome because they pick up from the bottom. So what it's doing is it's taking out all the aerated fuel. So whenever you put fuel into a log, it comes in at the top, and then the pickup that goes to the carburetor comes from the bottom. All it's doing is just getting out the air out of the fuel, any type of bubbles or anything like that. And it doesn't put it in any type of laminar flow or anything. It still has to go through needle and seat, but that's all it really does. But it does help quite a bit. It does the same thing that I do when I put 150 needle and seats into a carburetor and I drop the pressure because you have the volume, you don't need the pressure. It does the exact same thing. It's just externally. I'm actually doing something new on the Cookie Monster where I'm doing a return style of fuel system to where it comes from the pump to the carburetor to the regulator and then back. So there is no like extra lines or anything like that. That way I'm constantly circulating fuel and it's coming up kind of like on a fuel log system like that. So that's the pros. The cons is that because you have a fuel log, you're going to heat soak. So sometimes if you're running a lot of, now it's a return system. So since you have a return system, it's going to allow some of the fuel to get out. But if it's coming from the regulator to the fuel log and then to the carburetor, you can heat soak that. But if it's in a racing application, it should be fine. After you do the burnout, whatnot, it should have all fresh, cool fuel in there and be fine. But that's really the only con on it.
So the pro that I can think of is like when you do a Holly Blue Pump and a regulator, generally that's just like a deadhead regulator. And it doesn't allow the fuel to circulate at all, causing it to actually gain heat just from being in the system, being pressurized.
Yeah, always do a return system on it.
Yeah, return system is much more efficient. It eliminates air in the system, and it also eliminates stagnating and heating the fuel.
Yep.
So it's constantly flowing. So you should see some gains just from that.
Big time.
All right. So what was the okay, Aunt D says, hello, is the 318 going to stay flat tappet?
Absolutely. We're actually working on solid flat tappet. Actually, I'm working with Andy on this, and hopefully we're going to be trying to get some of the experimental DLC flat tappets, 904s. I have some of the experimental ones here that I'm going to put in the Slant 6, but they're for hydraulic. If we can get some of those, Andy's going to be the first one to get some that we're going to put on the street, and I'm actually going to put them in here. I've already set up the lifter bores just for those. And when we do the camshaft for that, I'm going to design the camshaft around those DLC lifters just for this thing set up.
Oh, so you're going to see if you can get considerably more aggressive with those DLC lifters then?
Yes, absolutely.
So you should put his BMF cam. Some guy from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood did a BMF cam profile with Professor P, and it had serious crashback. It sounded fucking awesome. Well, pick that motor up like, golly, I asked for chop, dude. I didn't know I need all the chop.
I told you it's going to be aggressive and it's going to make all the power.
Let's see. Clayton's Toolbox. This is the question. Okay, so I know Shane was looking at the Honda K series, and I am a huge fan of 1980s Quad 4. I love the Quad 4. Yeah. See, in a day of dismal, anemic, shitty engines flooding the market because they were everywhere, right? 2.8 Chevrolets were in just about everything. You had, what was the turd Ford? 3-liter V6, turd, right? All that stuff was junk. In a day that your 140 horsepower meant something, and then you had the 5-liter Mustang showed up with 225 horse, the Grand National with like 200 and it might have been just a little bit more by like 235. And then you had like the TPI Camaros of the day were like 245. And the freaking 4-cylinder Quad 4 was banging around at like 200 horse. There wasn't another 4-cylinder that had that kind of that steam.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I really am a big fan. And I really believe that the Quad 4, because see, Oldsmobile went away around 2000. So as they were evolving, General Motors was stripping them of everything that was good before they dumped them, right? And what they did is they took the Quad 4, and I believe it ended up becoming the North Star. I think that's what it ended up becoming, because what happened was the Quad 4 evolved into the Aurora V8, which was the dual overhead cam, variable valve time V8 with 24 valves per cylinder. And those were only around for like a year or two. And then all of a sudden, Oldsmobile went away, and that Aurora V8, which was running Indy, got replaced by the Honda. And then all of a sudden, Oldsmobile was gone. And then the North Star came out. I think the North Star is the Aurora. I'm not sure.
I picked a Honda for really two reasons. One, the head is incredible. I mean, that thing flows so much awesome. It's just like 400 CFM out of the box with full VTEC. Imagine that little Honda has got 400 CFM of airflow without porting it, Dallas. And then that's crazy.
Yeah, 420?
Like 420 CFM. That's right. Yep. And then for me, it's they can run all day long at 8,500 RPM, 9,000 RPM, and you don't have any issues with them.
Man, Danny Boyd says he'd do a Trophy 4, Pontiac Trophy 4. I think I'm kind of past that. I do like, there is that 4-cylinder version, the Mercury Marine 3-liter that was like 292 Chevrolet, but it's only 4 cylinders. That thing is pretty healthy. It's very healthy.
Yeah.
Shane, oh my gosh. James from SSR Performance says, hey, Shane, what's the lowdown on the 6-speed? It's supposed to say TCI 4L80E. That's the 6, or the, what do they call that thing? It had a really cool name. He said the 6-speed TCI 4L80.
It's a 6X. Yeah.
6X. Didn't you say it was going away though, right?
Yeah, just because we have to, you have to butcher so many transmissions to get it. You got to butcher a 204R, you got to butcher a turbo 400, and then basically a 4L80 to make one. So yeah, so it's quite the prices of the 204Rs have gone through the roof. Just the core is like almost $800 or $900, and we use that because we get the first gear ratio out of that, and then we use the sun gear of a few things, and then we also use the planetaries of that, and that gives the 1-2 split better, and then that way we can hold and apply, and it gives a better split between gears. The only reason for it too is because now you have the 6R80 and the 6L80, which are basically factory transmissions. I can't go beyond that, but I could just say that the 6X has become so expensive for us just in cores. We can't pass that on to the customer. It's just too high now. I think that transmission was like 6,500 or 7,000, and for us to up the cost just because of the cores would be, I mean, I don't make any of the prices, but I would have to say, since everything's gone up 200% as far as cores, I would say it's got to go up even more. So other than that, I don't know what else would you like to know about it, because I know a lot, because I worked on that.
I just think it's become antiquated with having 6 and 8-speed transmissions from the factory.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's period. When it came out, it was cool because everything was only a 4-speed.
Yep. Exactly.
But Bobby Frizzell says, dare to be different, build a Go Devil 4-cylinder, which is still a flathead 4-cylinder. Okay. Old McDonald has a car, says, unless my tach was off, I used to rev my 340 to about 7,000 RPM and an occasional 7,200, almost a valve load. Those 340s are beasts.
Yeah. They'll handle it a few times. Here's the thing, though, is that if it's going to live up there, it won't last that long. The reason being is it has nothing to do with it being a 340, 318, or 360. All the small blocks suffer from the same issue. It's this oiling passageway right here. This main oil galley, by the time it gets up to here, it already has all these different leaks going on, and there's nothing. The number one feeds the number one main, the number one rod, that number one cam, plus then it has it comes up and feeds this whole lifter bank. So that oil goes all the way down here, then it has to come back up and feed all this. So what I do, especially for a flat top, is I block this up, and a lot of people will cross over the tube in here somewhere by the number 4 main. I actually come right over here to this. This is actually where your sending unit's at. since that sending unit is before the turn, there's a 90-degree turn there, and you don't have the high velocity there. I put a 5/16 line there, and I run 5/16 all the way up to the front and back feed it right to the number one main. So now you're feeding oil from both directions. It will survive there for a very long time. The only thing that's really going to break this thing now is just going to be horsepower. That's about it.
Well, it's good to know. But that 318 sitting right behind you is virtually the same engine as a 340.
Yes, exactly. Except for a couple ribs. Yeah, they're literally the same thing. There's a few rib differences here and a few little things here and there, but other than that, the oiling systems are identical.
And D says the Aurora V8s that ran at Indy almost all blew up in the race. That's funny. Okay, so Bobby Frizzell says, I may have misunderstood, but I think that 6X transmission is what's going behind the Tunnel Ram FE I just built and sent to Florida. He built the FE Tunnel Ram for, guess who? Riley's Rebuilds.
Yeah. You know what?
Remember our first show?
Yes, what's funny is that I just talked to Doug, which is the dad. I didn't know that you built that engine. I'm actually good because then I can get all the information on it because I'm actually designing a converter for that right now for that transmission.
Well, if that's the one, I know exactly what it is. Transmission put behind there.
Huh?
Maybe he is. Maybe they are putting a 6X TCI behind that thing.
Yeah, because I was doing that today. I was talking to Doug about that converter.
Let's see. Edward says, what is the best way to build a somewhat bulletproof 6L90 without ordering custom billet trans?
Define bulletproof, because a 6L90, people are running 6L90s up to about 1,000 horsepower in a car that weighs about 4,000 pounds right now.
Aren't these the van applications, like van, 3/4 ton truck and stuff?
Well, 6L90s, they put them. Some of those also do the. Some people are taking those and putting behind Mustangs.
Drive. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the 6L's for the Ford version of that.
Oh, that's a Ford transmission?
Yeah, the 6R is. Oh no! Wait a second, I got it wrong.
That's a GM 6L90.
I'm sorry. The 6R is the Ford one. The 6L is the GM version. I'm sorry. The 6L90. Yes, there is a problem with that transmission. That one is not as good. I can't talk much more about that because I just can't.
Well, I think this one is all right. This is what came in like 3/4 ton vans and trucks.
Yes,
is what I think it is. And they had an inherent problem with like the sun shell from the get-go.
Yep.
And I think the ultimate fix for it was essentially just order a Sonics piece to put in there. Because they have an updated sun shell, I believe, for that 6L90.
Yeah, the 6L90 also came in like high performance things, like with the supercharger for like cars. Like what's the Cadillac version? What's the Cadillac thing?
That CTSV.
Yeah, that thing. Like the ZL1 type deal.
Okay, I just remember seeing. When I first did my Suburban, I was looking at doing like a 4L80E, and I noticed they made a 4L85E, and they were actually pretty cheap. And then I found one of those 6L90s, and it was even cheaper than both of those. And I'm like, wow, that's a good price. And to look to see what it would take to run it, and then it only has one bell housing pattern, and that's the LS pattern. That's it. Well, I take that back. It may have like one for a Duramax if it's not the same. Because in a van, you could get a Duramax with a 6L90.
Yeah,
and that was another thing, was used to the Duramax parts.
Yeah, the 6R90, the Ford version of that thing is the one that can literally handle 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower factory.
Huh. Oh, Dylan Levi just popped in and said, damn, I'm late. Was watching Breaking Bad. Man, you got to get your fix on.
Right? Especially that's technically a fix.
Let's see. Here's something interesting. Aunt D says for 4 cylinders, there's a brand new Model A block with oil pressure and 5 main bearings.
Wow.
I don't know how they would do that. I mean, I guess
it's
without changing the rods.
Yeah, because there was a lot of room between those rod throws.
I guess you could probably put another main journal in there.
Yeah, because when I was at Crower, we used to make rods for those things, and the rods are like 7, like
they're like super wide.
Yeah, and they're like 7 or 8 inches long or 9. It's ridiculous. Like, and they're super skinny.
They're 7 inches long. Yeah.
Yeah, 7 inches long. They're ridiculous. And we had a few crankshafts down there that we made out of billet, with fully counterweighted for those people who do those hill climbs. You know those 100-foot hill climbs. You ever seen that?
I have not seen that with
Yeah.
the Model A's.
Yes. So watch that. It's a 100-foot. They'll find a place like in Maryland or whatever, right? And
Uh-huh.
then they have a line, and it's literally 100 foot, and then it's literally a dead stop, and they accelerate, and it's an uphill, and it slowly gets higher and higher, and they accelerate up this, and it's a timed race. And
Huh.
so I've never even heard of it until I started working at Crowder. I didn't even know it existed, and now it's like curling. You ever seen curling at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you just you
No.
watch it?
No.
Oh, I do. I just I get fixated on it. It's the same thing with these things. I'll find the rabbit hole of the YouTube of the 100-foot hill climbs in the Model A's at 2 o'clock in the
Yeah, and then
morning.
you wake up like an hour later and you're like, curling. Let's see.
Right.
These
But
gummies are strong.
yeah, you should watch some of those hill climbs. Are cool, man. They're actually pretty fun to watch.
Oh, I know they are. They have motorcycle hill climbs. That's the ones I really like to watch, the
Oh,
Harley Davidsons and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, but this is not
Not
like
the
that. This
dirt
is
hills, but like
Yeah,
the
no, this is a paved surface, and
right.
it's really like, the guys get all parried correct, and they kind of go up this little hill. It's quite fun.
Huh. Well, let's see. Andy says also would love to use a K or B or K Honda in a stock appearing Model A.
Okay, here's the thing: is you can't use a B because it turns the opposite direction, but a K you could, because a K turns clockwise.
Counterclockwise.
Yeah,
Or
B goes counterclockwise. So it an engine that I would put into one of my darts as a daily driver, other than a Mopar, would be a K series. So that's literally what I was going to do, or that, or like an SRT4, but it'd be one of those two.
Well, so James from SSR Performance is saying 6L90 will take a lot of power, just a few mods. I didn't think they were all too terribly bad, but there was only like one piece that was a failure point on them,
Yeah,
and that was like that sun shell.
but you still got to take it all apart to fix it. That's the whole
Oh, do
thing.
you?
Yeah, but it's not terrible. I mean, you can still, if you put it in a light enough vehicle, because it's designed for trucks with lots of torque. But if you
Right.
put it in a light enough vehicle, it's fine.
Well, yeah, the lighter it gets, the less damage it could do, right? Less load against it.
Yeah.
Edward says it's an 09 3500 and 12 Savannah van, both going to have Edelbrock superchargers. All right, well, there you go.
That's nice.
Regular, that's kind of cool. Like a 3500 be like a 1-ton truck, and then the van, of course, big old huge passenger van. But that's interesting. I'm gonna put superchargers on both of them, huh? Aunt Lee says it's called a Burt's block.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That
Chaco
sounds
or
familiar.
Pachaho Peak Hill Climb.
Yep, that's it. The Pacheco Peak Hill Climb. That's exactly it. Dude, and there's a lot of places that are picking that up to like, they go to different places now and do that. But yeah, you should watch that, dude. It's really fun.
D50 says 4-cylinder, all you want. No hate. Old school V8 hot for teacher can never be replaced. Yes, I am a boomer and am stuck in the past.
Dude,
I have
right there
never built a 4-cylinder, so you're there with me. But I mean, I would, if I had to do one, it would be a quad 4.
Yeah. No, yeah. I've built a lot. I build engines is what I used to do. So I used to race them. I was a driver for some Honda guys in the 90s, but I just happened to start building them because they were blowing them up, and I was like, I could do a better job than that. So
all right. Don English, the one-eyed cat here, says, rebuilding my 440, how much extra ring gap should I allow? May want to spray it later down the road. I want enough gap. That's okay. Depends how much you want to spray it is what is really what dictates this. Gap is essentially like bore times some mathematical figure they give you when it comes with the ring kit. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but generally you're looking at like
6.5 or 7 thousandths per inch if you're going to go
bore.
Yeah, per inch or more.
Normally, what you'll come up with is like, say, if you're wanting to do 150 shot or is 150 shot or less, you're going to be like about 22 to 24 thousandths.
Totally fine.
Yeah. And then if you had anything more than a 150 shot, you're going to need it like, say, I would probably have about a 28 thousandths gap in it.
Yeah. On this car here, this has got a 4040 bore on this on the Cookie Monster here, and I think this one's at 32 thousandths right now, 30 and 32. Because I would want.
Yeah, your ring package will come with instructions and tell you exactly how to gap the rings based on your diameter.
Exactly. So you look at your rings, and it'll tell you right on the performance, supercharger, nitrous, and then always they'll give you a range, and the range is basically telling you got to be an engine builder on this. On the low end, low nitrous. On the big end, big nitrous. So just know that always start with the big end, and multiply that way.
And if you're ever like wondering, oh, I don't have no idea what to do, like it's telling me this big wide swath, just put it on the wide. You'll never run into ring butt problems ever. It will consume oil. So be ready for that.
But here's the thing. It's like the thing with the loose engine. If it's tight, everybody knows it. If it's loose, no one even knows it. It's the same thing with rings. If it's tight, everyone knows it. If it's loose, no one's going to know it.
No one's going to ever know that you're loose, that it's using oil. No one will ever know. Right. You'll never even see it. It'll just use it.
Yeah. And if it's a race car, who cares? I mean, I've been watching this, the Beater Bomb channel, and he doesn't even run valve guide seals in his big block Chevrolet. He just doesn't.
He's rob horsepower.
Huh?
They rob horsepower.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I don't know how a valve guide seal can actually rob anything, but
well, I just said yeah because I was like, oh, whatever. But a lot of people don't run those at all. So
let's see. Old McDonald has a car. Well, the Buicks did not come with him until like after 65.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't even have valve seals.
I don't know if it's my internet, but you're breaking up quite a bit. But it could just be me.
Oh, okay. Or did you already take your gummies and you're getting ready to watch some curling?
No, they're right here.
Oh, all right. All right. So Old McDonald has a car. Those curling guys need to be hired to sweep in front of the cars at the starting line to make them go faster. I think that would work, actually. Dylan Levi says, okay, I want to see two funny cars do tug of war at No Names at 26. Who's with me? Hey, you know what? It wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
Right.
There's actually dragsters and funny cars that have done a tug of war and funny cars that have done tug of war.
Mm-hmm. You can watch it on YouTube. I've seen it.
Yeah, I think you can probably find those videos.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City Skyhawk says, would rigging a distributor to run individual coil packs be worth the trouble? Mild street motor, 325 horsepower to 350 horsepower. Any guess on how much possible horsepower boost would it be? Mostly help 6,000 RPM and higher. Yes. It's essentially the best way to do that is get rid of the distributor and go to like a crank trigger that runs those things. And then what you'll find is it's very stable. And you can actually, what it'll do is it'll eliminate the mechanical part of the distributor, which is like the weights and all that stuff, the vacuum advance. And it'll have a pre-programmed curve already in it. And that you have to run an ignition box specifically for, if you're still running a carburetor, you're going to have to run an ignition box. If you're running EFI, you're going to have to run an EFI that's compatible with a crank trigger setup to run coil on a plug. But it eliminates the mechanical side of the distributor and the advanced mechanism inside the distributor. So that's the big gain from it. It never really fails. Nothing ever changes. It's always the same curve. It's reliable, right? The downside for the coil on plug, they're generally pretty pricey.
Yes.
They do provide some good spark. I don't think you'd gain a single horsepower from it with your application.
Nope, not one. It would just be
more
had
efficient. A turbo on that thing, and it had like a progressive, boost curve. Maybe. Yeah, you probably gain quite a bit.
Yeah, and if you were doing any power adders, you would definitely see it because then you could individually tailor each spark plug, coil pack for that and timing control and everything.
Yep, that's what's awesome about them. But other than that, it's more or less just like a nice to have. It'd be kind of like if you had a lot of money and you just want to get rid of it and you don't like it, you hate it, go coil and plug and from a distributor fired engine. So, but you're never really going to gain anything because you're still running an oil pump, and that thing doesn't take any horsepower to turn whatsoever. It's just maintenance intensive compared to that coil unplug setup.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. So Bobby Frizzell says, yes, Shane, I have all the information you want about the FE build. Happy to send you any information you need.
Oh, bitch.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Well, now you know the cam and the heads and everything you use.
Because he literally gave me a list this big. He goes, hey, I need a converter. And he gave me a list this big. He goes, here, call me if you need anything else. And I'm like, yeah, I need everything else.
Yeah. What gear? What's the weight of the car?
Yeah. Like
camshaft is a very good place to start from.
And that was missing. The cylinder heads were like, it just said, like better heads. I think is what it said. It wasn't like what kind of heads. It just said better heads. And I'm like, okay.
Michael Schmidt says, if you gap for nitrous and prep for nitrous, can you drive normally without nitrous until you decide to install nitrous 3 or 4 years later? Yes.
Yes.
You'll be fine.
100% fine.
Yeah.
Yep. And the first time you run nitrous, guess what? It's going to clean out all that carbon. And the second time you run nitrous, it's going to run even faster.
Let's see. Paul Hoy says, Shane, will Comp finally get the DLC hydraulic coated lifters for Pontiac Oldsmobile V8s? They've had them for a while.
Yeah, they're
he
in
told
stock.
me when they had like maybe New Year's.
Yeah,
because they had them for available for Buick, right? Which is the same as a Pontiac Oldsmobile lifter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Chevrolets, Buicks, we're just and I have some prototypes for the 904s for hydraulics, and I think Andy's going to get the very first solid ones, but they should be out.
Let's see. Old McDonald has a car. Has anyone built an engine using solenoids to activate valves? Yes. Formula One. Yeah.
Huh? Koenigsegg actually did it for street cars.
Yeah, but Formula One, that's where that technology essentially originated and pretty much stays at now. But they use, I want to say it's air activated solenoids, maybe. I don't remember how oil activated solenoid, what they're using to activate it. I don't think it's electronic. It is electronic, but it's like electronic over hydraulic or electronic over air. Michael Schmidt says, regarding the KS Skyhawk question, 6,000 RPM doesn't require multiple coils. Maybe high compression with power adder over 6,000 RPM, right?
Yes.
Yes, and here's the thing: like a lot of people don't think of, or that when you go coil and plug, you're technically adding in 6 coils. You're adding in 7 more coils to go bad, right? Mm-hmm. And what happens is, like if your coil goes bad on your regular distributed car, it just doesn't run, so you don't tear anything up. But when you drive one of these things down the road and it's got a coil that's weak or bad and it's intermittently firing on one cylinder, it ends up generally running a bunch of fuel into your catalytic converter and smoking the converter. And over time, it ends up washing that cylinder out and you get a whole bunch of codes, misfires, the whole 9 yards. And you got to take it somewhere and they generally troubleshoot it and diagnose it down to the coil. But that's why I like the old distributor stuff, because if the coil goes bad, it just doesn't run. Now, does it have the ignition? No, it doesn't have the ignition. But if I'm not above 4,500 RPM, which I'm probably not 99% of the time, it doesn't really matter.
Won't make any difference.
Yeah. Let's see. Polishing stainless headers, tubes, any kind of tips or tricks. I think that one's more or less just patience and polish. And use power tools when you can and get the big areas and then do the small areas by hand.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's all you can do.
That's why you don't see, when I was a kid, the big thing used to be polished aluminum. Everybody would polish aluminum intake manifold or polish aluminum cylinder head or polished aluminum blowers, right? That was a big deal. But when you figured out the time and effort in doing that crap,
ridiculous.
Guys that stopped doing it, they started painting them.
Yeah. For me, it was hide it black. That's my thing. DE 1634. That's called my hide it black. It's a low gloss black. I paint every damn thing with that.
That's a Duplicolor, and that's a Duplicolor paint. Yeah. If it starts with DE, it's a Duplicolor.
DE 1634, man. That's the color of everything. In fact, the whole undercage of my race car, DE 1634, I call it hide it black.
That's so. You know what? I think maybe I'm going to touch on something here for a second.
Sure.
Way back when street racing was like a real deal, when you street raced people.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly where you're going with this.
We used to paint the engines black because when you open the hood, you can't see a damn thing.
Exactly.
Right? And it would be like the intake manifold would be black, the block would be black, the heads would be black, and the valve covers might have some aluminum strip on them or a little bit of stainless steel or whatever, but you couldn't tell crap. You look in there like you can barely even make out the make of the engine, let alone like if it had nitrous on it or if it was an aftermarket block or if it was an aftermarket cylinder head. It's impossible.
That's why I call it hide it black.
Yeah. It used to be that used to be the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what you should do. Don't polish those headers. Paint the whole damn thing flat black, or even better, like satin black, because you can't open the hood and see anything. And that's when you whack them.
Yep.
But
for me, I've always painted. Now, I used to do hide it black, but then I moved on to the Chrysler red. For one reason is because the 273 that came in this car originally is red, and so all the Slant 6s I had were red, right? So I do the red because I just tell people, dude, it's just a 273, man. That's all it is. So
let's see. KS Skyhawk, why did all the car companies use multiple coils even on wimpy engines?
Efficiency and timing.
Well, and the other one is it is so easy to repair compared to distributor.
Yes.
Right? Like you literally just unplug the coil, put a new coil on, plug everything back in, you're good to go. And you're down the road.
Bobby's actually physically telling me what's in the engine right now. That's awesome. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it, man, because everything you're telling me right here, he didn't know this stuff. Oh, and he was wrong on the compression ratio too, by the way. So thank you for that.
Okay. KS Skyhawk saying my idea is junkyard coil packs, $40 stock distributor, modified altogether, $100 and some Hall effect sensors. What I know of is since you're running a 350 Buick, any of the small block Buicks, you can use the Grand National, the cam drive for the oil pump, that little stubby distributor, and then it has a like 2-point sensor on it. It has a sensor on it. All it's determined if it's open or closed, and that that gives it the positional relation of the camshaft. It's how that works, and you could use one of those. And then, matter of fact, since the Grand National came with coil on plug, or it actually came with a coil pack and ran all 6 cylinders with a coil pack, you can use a crank trigger similar to a Grand National. Even the timing cover and everything probably would work on a 350 Buick, but you need a reluctor wheel that would be for however many cylinders you have. And the best thing would be like try to adapt an LS, like a reluctor wheel that's on the crank, to the snout or the hub of the Buick V8, and then just use the pickup for the V6 Buick. And then you run it to like something that would run an LS coil pack setup, like a LS6 coil pack. Isn't that what it's called? LS? What's the MSD one? Is it?
Oh, the LS,
LS6AL.
Yeah, I think it's called LS6 is what it's called.
Yeah, and you can use that ignition box if you use the LS reluctor wheel. So, all right. Let's see. 2 Hacks Jeff is in the house. Got some dyno tests for the EZ, man. All right.
What's up, Jeffro? How you doing, man?
All right. Dylan Levi says, listen, I just want a nice engine bay. Do it, man. Don't even paint it flat black.
DE 1634.
I'm telling you, the problem with polishing that, especially headers, you're going to go through all this effort and time and to polish them, put them on there. They're going to look nice. You're going to start up, make one pass, and they're going to look like a hammered dog shit.
Yeah.
And then you're going to like regret ever having to do it because you're going to have to polish them again to make them look nice.
Yeah.
That's where it gets to be crappy.
Or just heat them up really hot and turn them in that like nice blue, the gold. Yeah. Just heat them up and screw it.
Yeah. Let's see. Tom Brown says, have to put a helicoil in one of the deck holes for head bolt for Chevrolet small block. Open, non-blind hole in the water jacket without a bottom. What keeps the coil in the hole? Shane's shaking his head. I have exclusive experience in this.
I would say don't even put the helicoil in. Go right to a time cert or a king cert or something like that. I just wouldn't do it. I've done it before.
I did 3 of them on 4 of the bolt holes.
Okay.
Or 5 or whatever it is. 3 of them on the same cylinder.
I would do them on I would put a time cert in it. It literally is the same operation as putting in a helicoil, but a time cert is an actual piece. It's a solid piece with threads in it instead of a helicoil, which goes threads like a spring on a thread. It's literally the same process. Just do that. It's just better.
So what I did was this. I ran them in. How did I do that? I drilled it out. I put the head on, used the head as a guide to drill it. Then I drilled them out. I pulled the head off and I tapped the holes to the helicoil size. And I want to say I put the helicoil in with red Loctite, but I also dinged the last 3 threads when I put it on the, like you get the thread insert, and I slid it over just a tube and I dinged them with a chisel. Just don't cut them in half, just ding them, right? And then threaded it in. And when you get to those last 3 threads, she's not happy, right? Just keep slowly going, working it back and forth. Don't break the tang off. And then you'll eventually get them all the way in there. And once it's below the deck surface, break your tang, pull out the garbage. And then I let it set up for 24 hours. And then when I tightened it down, it tightened in there just fine. It was a little tight, but I put Chevrolet small block, you got to seal them anyway.
Yes.
You're going to seal the threads anyway because they're all open to water. And so I ended up having to do that. But that block that I got for the Easy 302, I got from Jeff. I think it had a lot of miles on it for 2Hex, Jeff. It had a lot of miles on it. And what was weird is like that first cylinder, right where the water pumps water in, it had ate all the threads out. There was nothing left. I literally put it all together, brand new bolts, went to tighten it down. I couldn't even get 30 foot-pounds, and it freaking pulled all the threads out. And I looked, and it was only like 2 threads in there. So I ended up having to do something, and I already had the block board. I was like ready to cry.
Yeah. My advice is just go to a time cert. So much easier. It is. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah. Leslie 2 Kid is in the house. And if you have any more questions about the where is he at? KS Skyhawk. If you have more questions about the using the coil on plug setup, here's the guy that's familiar with Grand Nationals, the LC2 Kid. He might actually have some of the stuff you need to put coil on plug on your 350 Buick. Andrew Nelson is here. Says lean burns are harder to ignite. The high spare energy makes it possible.
Yeah.
So that's what's good about the coil on plug, I guess. Oh, Andrew Nelson says it's called a 6LS, not LS6.
Yeah, that's okay. 6LS. That's right. Sorry.
Let's see. And Indy's saying the same. I've done helicoils on head studs. Use a time cert.
I'm telling you. And do the exact same thing he says. Use the head as a guide. I do the exact same thing. I just put in time certs.
Yeah, I pulled the head off to put the stuff in because there's no way to do it through that little bolt hole.
Yeah. But use it as a guide. That way you get it nice and straight.
Oh, yeah. That was the big thing, was using it as a guide. Matter of fact, the kit came with a drill bit, and I don't think it was long enough. I ended up having to buy another drill bit, but I just did the same thing. Like when I got a drill bit that was like an inch longer shank. Let's see. KS Skyhawk, the GNX stuff still uses an ECF of some sort, doesn't it? Not to belabor it, the cost factor. It's always having more time than money and common sense too. Man, I'm telling you, just leave a regular distributor in it. It's not even a gain in your situation. It is literally just kind of wasting a bunch of money and time because there's no real gain for it. If you really want like something that's like a good compromise between the two without having to do much work, there is a company called, what was that distributor shop that we found the other day? Oh, let's see.
Oh, that one in California.
No, it's in Florida. It's in Florida.
Oh, Florida. Sorry.
Yeah. Progression Ignition. Okay. This dude has like the coolest ignition stuff I've seen in a long time. I've been wanting to work with this guy. He makes Buick distributors, but here's the cool thing. It has a vacuum port on it, and it looks like a distributor. But inside the distributor, it is Bluetooth capable, so you can Bluetooth it to your phone. It has like 6 or 8 programmed timing curves, so you can select, timing curve 1 through 8. It's electronic completely. It has no weights, no mechanical stuff, no vacuum advance. It has a vacuum port that runs your carburetor to act like a vacuum advance, but technically be like a map sensor. And it allows you to create your own timing curve with your own vacuum advance curve that's already pre-programmed, and you can pretty much put it wherever you want. And you can Bluetooth it, so you can be driving down the road looking at your timing and changing the vacuum advance as you're going down the road. What was the other benefit of that thing? God, it had a lot of really cool features. But that's the one that I want to try. I really want to try that on a Buick. Dust Devil Garage says, I like key inserts when you have room for them.
Key inserts are always better. They lock in. They actually had these little tabs that stick up. So for the longest time, I used to call them king certs, but they're actually called key inserts. But once you screw them in there, you hammer down the little rods and it locks it into place. So they're actually a little better than time certs, but yeah, I like those better on anything else. But on cast iron, I use a time cert.
Tom Brown wants to know: does the time cert use the same tap as the helicoil?
No, it's a whole different thing because it's actually a little bigger of a tap, and the insert is a little bigger. So it comes with its own thing. So if you go down and look at them, you just Google them and you can get them pretty much anywhere. Any hardware store should have them.
Danny Boyd said he's never heard of a key insert, so I guess he's glad he watched tonight. Miss Kenji said, you guys started early, and here's something I never, ever considered.
Daylight savings time.
Daylight savings time in the United States, and you're down under, right? So it's going to be an hour difference for you guys. So we've been an hour into it, and you're like, what in the heck is going on here? But yeah, welcome to the United States daylight savings time. Our body feels the same way the day after.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bobby Frizzell says, I've only thing I've used a helicoil on is when I used to buy junky used Holly carbs, and the bowl bolts will be stripped because people don't understand how to tighten a bolt.
Right.
The one that's always hit me really hard is that whenever somebody sees something leaking, they automatically assume it's not tight enough. And then they just gorilla it tighter. Right?
Break it right off.
Pull the threads out, break the bolts off, the whole 9 yards, without even considering that the, I don't know, cork shit 27-cent gasket is failed inside there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Man. So yes, to answer Miss Catchy's question though, we did start technically early for you, but it's daylight savings time for us. Let's see. Andrew Nelson says a key insert has the highest tear out strength.
It does. It does. But here's the thing about the key insert is you got to hammer in these 4 little rods to lock it in. And when you're in cast iron, that's where I've had issues with them. But since it's going into, because, when it's going into a block, like a cast iron block, the time certs just seem to work a little easier for that. I do agree. The key inserts are better, way better at everything, but hammering on those things in the cast iron has always been a problem. So it seems like.
Yeah.
In aluminum, absolutely.
I helicoil it with high strength stainless steel coils, and that good.
Fixed.
100%. Didn't leak. I was crushed, man. I literally had just spent $800 on having a block board, and the threads pulled out because it only had 2 threads. I never even considered to look how many it had.
Yeah.
You just clean them out and go, and that's that. And I was like floored that all the metal was gone. So, yeah. Fixed it. Move on. Okay. Clayton's Toolbox says, Shane, K20 or K24, which is best? I'll let you go because I'm going to take a break for use the toilet real quick. I'll be right.
Well, here's the thing: is that a K20 was got all the glory, right, for the longest time, and then a K24 really didn't. Here's the thing: is that a K24 is going to be better. Pretty much, it's just a bigger engine, it's going to make more torque. And they came in like CRVs and stuff like that, where the K20 was kind of in the cars and stuff. As far as better, man, either one of them is going to be awesome. But if I had to pick, I'd go with the K24 because actually they're a little easier to get. They're a little cheaper nowadays because they're pretty much everywhere. All the K20s have been kind of bought up. So that's where I would go. And unfortunately, I can't move any of this. So if you guys got any questions, as they come up, I'll ask them. But yeah, right now, since he's gone, that's all I got. So I would go. Now, I can tell you that we did a K20 can make 350 pretty easily. I've done a K24. It made 350, but it as far as on the top end, but it had more torque, but it was falling off a little faster because it's a little bigger engine. And at that time, I believe the heads were flowing about the same CFM. So with the same camshaft, same everything, I mean, it makes sense. A smaller engine's going to RPM a little bit higher. And if you're just into really the ultimate of high RPM, I would definitely go with the K20. But a K24 is right there too, man. I think we used to spin the K24s to 82 or 8,500, and the K20s would go to like 92 or 9,300, and then that was in the drag engine that I used to build. And those things were, man, we started running them on gasoline, then we started running them on methanol, and then we started working with nitromethane. And nitromethane, man, that's some awesome stuff. And I've said it here before, but there's a magic number. Once you cross 40%, you notice a little bit like a 20 and 30, but man, once you cross that 40% number, that's where I'm telling you, that's when that engine comes to life.
The Honda on nitro?
Yes. 40%. I've told this 1,000 times. 40%, that's your magic number right there of nitromethane. Once you cross over 40%, all of a sudden you start up and you look at it and go, something's different.
Dust Devil Garage says, are the intake bolts in the same location on Magnum and LA heads? Was wondering if you could make a wedge-shaped block and use the Magnum bolts to hold down an LA intake. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, now there was a company, I think it was Summit, or there was another, or maybe it was Hughes, or was it Mopar? They made a universal intake so you could run it on a Magnum and or in LA, and it was basically these little studs. It was like a wallowed out type of, I'm going to use Southern word. It was a wallered out hole, and they put these little inserts in them that would go straight down. They're essentially in the same place, but I think that the LAs have two extra bolts where the Magnums don't. I think the center too, because the Magnums don't have heat crossover transfer. They don't have a heat in the center, a heat riser. So I think they're missing the center 4 bolts there. I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what it is.
Well, that's how like the later Chevrolets were too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Andy says, is there an inexpensive way to rear-wheel drive a K motor for a manual transmission?
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of people out there making adapter plates. Absolutely.
You can probably easily run a T10 behind one of those. I mean, gosh,
absolutely. And and they make so much torque. I mean, they make about the same torque as a Slant 6, but it just makes another 150 more horsepower than a Slant 6.
It's like a whole nother Slant 6.
It's a whole nother one. Like, turn on the second engine. Good.
Oh man, that's kind of like was it Spaceballs? Like,
right?
What's it ludicrous speed? Yeah, plaid.
Plaid.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're halfway through the live tonight. I don't think we have any hardcore tech to talk about.
Nah, I didn't prepare. I've been working on this thing right here. This was Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and I think I have 2 more afternoons on it, and then it's done.
Well, I have I was gonna show. I've got my cutting room open here for my video editing for my easy video. I'll show you my intro. I'll show you guys my intro. I was trying to show Professor P. There is something pretty cool because you can see. You can. I don't know if everybody can hear it because Professor P says he can't hear it, but
I couldn't hear it.
we got the easy on the dyno, and you can hear when the secondaries come open on this sucker. So I'll share it around. And then we'll play it.
And post in the comments if you heard it because I didn't hear it.
Okay. It's saying remove that. Okay, that's the only way I can add that. Okay, here's my cutting room and my editing. The upper right-hand corner, that white screen is the, I'll see if I can make it full size for you. We'll go rewind to the beginning, and then I'll turn it off at the after the intro so you guys don't see anything yet. Can you guys see that?
Nope, nothing. They can barely hear it too. There's no picture. There you go.
Could you see that?
No, the picture just finally popped up.
Did it really?
Yeah.
On the live?
Yeah, on the live. So as soon as your car came up on the, your Thunderbird came up. There you go. Yeah, that now it's showing. There you go.
It wasn't showing before?
No.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. So should I show it again then?
Yeah, show it again.
All right. Can you see that?
Yes. But they can't hear it.
Oh, they can't hear it.
Mm-mm.
Are you sure they can't hear it? Who can hear it? Let me see it. What's the chat saying here?
It's so faint. I mean, they can hear something, but you can't hear what's going on.
Wow. Let's see. Well, nobody's replying saying that they can or can't hear it, so it's just questions coming up. So I guess it doesn't matter. All right. Well, you can catch the premiere then. How's that?
He's saying no sound.
No sound. Oh, well, sound makes it all worthwhile.
Yes, exactly. No sound at all. See, I told you, nobody can hear the sound.
Okay, well, fair enough. Jeez. Okay.
He was giving me a little bit of shit this like before we started. He was like, "Man, you can't hear that," and he played it like 3 times. Like, dude, I can't hear it, man. I'm sorry.
Fine, I won't show it then. You just can see it when it premieres. Then
that's right. And I'm going to turn it up in this garage here in surround sound with all my bass going on. It's going to sound like it's right here.
Well, guess what? You're going to hear what the man. I'm telling you, it's like one of the most thing. You know how a quadrojet sounds when the secondaries come open anyway, right? Whoa! This is like way better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because it's on a high revving 302 that I had the door open late because I didn't want to quadribog it on the dyno. So I had the spring pretty tight, and it freaking hammers open, and it damn near jumped the motor right off the stand, man. It sounds so freaking awesome. So, yeah, I was digging it.
Bobby's correct. It's a Q-Jet. I'll do the subtitles. Bog.
No, he's saying bog.
I know, bog.
It did everything but bog. It was freaking, it hammered down.
Hey, John Wilburn's here. What's up, man?
Yeah. Let's see here. The only advice says, is there a way to get the old school sound of an M22 rock crusher on a new style transmission? I wanted it for my 77 Malibu. The only way to do that, those are straight cut gears. That's what that noise is.
Yes.
You would have to get an aftermarket race transmission, generally, or straight cut gears. So like a G101, G-Force transmission. There's a couple of, other options like Jericho 4-speed.
Jericho.
Tex Racing used to make one, I think was the T101. It's similar to the G101. Then you had Liberty gears that you could put in any transmission. So if you got a straight cut gear set for, let's say, like a T10 or a Saginaw, you could have the same sound, but it would still be inherently weak transmission. All right, but that's the straight cut gear set that causes that. All right, my next project says 5.9 Magnum and a heavy duster. Heavy and duster generally don't go together. Ships at 6,000 RPM and hit the quarter-mile strip at 6,000 RPM. Do I need a deep sump oil pan?
I would do something at least. I would get something at least with kickouts on it, or I would get something that's some sort of baffling in there. Because what's really going to happen is when you're hitting the brakes, it's not necessarily going down the track. It's when you hit the brakes, all that oil is going to be going forward. So I would definitely try to get some sort of sump in there if you can, or even an accumulator. If you didn't want to change the oil pan, you can just put an accumulator on it, one of those three, like an AccuSump, 3-quart ones. They work really good. Yeah, I would definitely do something because oil is the lifeblood.
Okay. So I see 2 kids saying as far as Turbo Buick specifies, there's a 3 reluctor crank wheel, and the cam sensor has 1 window on the reluctor. And that's what I was getting at. It's like the cam sensor is like either on or off. That's it. So that's probably what he's talking about when he says 1 window. I'm not too up on that stuff, but and then everybody's giving me crap for not having any sound. So we'll just move on.
It sounded like Sanford and Son. It did. It has that like 70s waka waka waka.
Well, that was the whole point. Was it was supposed to be like an 80s or like an early 80s sitcom sound to the music.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Bobby Frizzell says I screwed up because the air filter lid should have been flipped upside down on the EZ.
Exactly. He is correct.
Yes, Val's 360 Jimmy says, hey guys, on daylight savings time. We are. And this is the second time we've been asked that. I guess it's because I don't know if we've ever had it live like right after the shift, but I guess you would have to think it would have to be shortly after one of them. But
we've been doing this for 3 years now, right? This is 3 years.
Yeah, this would be like our 6th or so shift.
Yeah.
But yep, we're on daylight savings time now. It's getting nice here. The weather's starting to cooperate and not snow on us. But
it wasn't a shift. Less than a month. In less than a month, it went from 6 degrees, like literally 6 degrees outside.
I'll give you an idea. When I started working on the EZ302 and was getting ready to take it to the dyno, and I put it on the start stand, it was nice one day, and then the next day I'm working on the carburetor, and there's 2.5 inches of snow on the ground. And it was 27 degrees.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right? Yeah. And then all within the same week period, it went from nice 2.5 inches of snow back to 72 degrees. And I got the carburetor running, and then I took it to the dyno this week. So it's like, I guess spring is sprung, but it's sprung really fast. Let's see. Lori Convoy says, is there a calculation for quarter mile for changing gears from 411 to 513? We bought a gear vendor's overdrive for drag week, but didn't make the pre-registration. Overdrive will bring it to a 4.0 using Super Turbine 300. Man, these people are my friends. Okay, you got to be screwing with me. Are you guys screwing with me?
We almost made it a show without the word being said.
I never said
here we go.
Switch pitch. I never said switch pitch. Okay.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. So is there a calculation for quarter mile for changing gears from 411 to 513?
Yeah. There's actually a website. I think it's Tremec.
We're looking for a quarter mile, like an RPM calculator.
Yeah. So Tremec gear ratios, I think is what it is. So let me make sure. Yeah. Tremec gear calculator. You click on that, and then you can literally put in your tire size, your gear ratio, your RPM. And then it has 6 different places where you can put in all the different gears, and then you can put it right in there. And whatever you're doing it at 411, then you could put 513 in there, and it'll tell you your mile an hour at that one.
So
but it's a Tremec gear calculator.
They're going from a 411 to a 513 because they bought a gear vendor's overdrive, right?
Yes.
And so what I'm thinking is this: that a 513 with a gear vendors and turned on would become a 389. But they're trying to figure out, I guess, what their quarter mile RPM would become, right?
Yeah, because you can't turn the gear vendors on during drag race.
I think you can.
Mm-mm. They tell you not to do it under that amount of load.
Probably. I don't know. I'm not sure. And so John is busy pimping Lori Conboy's channel, and I'm assuming that is because Lori must be part of the No Name 500.
Oh, really? Well, then let's.
I don't know. I'm thinking so.
Let's go subscribe.
Yeah, I'm gonna head on over there, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get over there. Can I get over there? How do I get over there? Let's see. But it's not often you get John Wilburn pimping channels, unless they're part of the family.
Yeah. So let's go and check this out. Yeah, but if you go to it's a Tremec gear calculator. Just type that in, and it's the first thing that comes up. Click on it. It's really easy to use. You'll figure it out. How do you spell her last name? I'm terrible.
Conboy. Let's see here. Dang.
And what's not coming up for me?
Well, okay.
What am I missing here?
I don't know. I'm looking for it right now.
Conboy. Let's see. I'm going to just highlight that and copy and paste it.
Well, that's what I tried to do, but I can't really highlight it. Is it allowing you to highlight it?
Oh, yeah. I got Lori Connie. I don't know.
Let's see here. Oh, man, I'm freaking lame at this today. What's wrong with me today?
I'm failing. Let me see. I'm going to here, copy, put it in HL. See here. See what it actually is. No, it literally is that. That's what it is. So I subscribed. She has 7 subscribers. I'm number 8.
Well, you found it?
Yeah.
Is it all one word or something?
No, it literally is. She has 7 subscribers. It's LORI, new word, CONBOY.
Oh, okay. I tried that. I cannot get to that thing.
I couldn't either. I had to copy and paste that.
Man, YouTube is suppressing her channel. What's it called? Is it her name? Is the channel name?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Really? Why is it not coming up? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's there. So, anyways, I'm number 8.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll find it here in a second then, I guess. Because I'm epically failing here.
So she's in the running, so that she's basically starting from 0 because I don't see any videos up yet. Yeah. So literally she probably just started it. So that's awesome. Congratulations.
Put it into Google.
Good luck. So now that must mean that she's actually in the Name Nationals. That means she probably has paid the money, right? That's what that usually means.
Usually, yes.
Okay. So if that's the case, then she's basically getting the discount now. So that's good.
Man, you know what? Even if you Google it, it doesn't come up. It is like seriously suppressing the channel because there's like so little going on there. All right, I need to get that whole link, and it won't allow me to copy it from inside here on while we're doing this on StreamYard.
Mine
now
is.
I feel like
I'm wild. I can get it.
You can get it, but how am I going to use it?
So what I do is I highlight it blue, then I hit Control Copy. Oh wait, are you on an Apple?
I am.
Are you on the Mac?
But it doesn't matter. I can't select it because it puts it up on the screen, Shane.
Yeah. So what I do is I right click and hold the right click down, and then highlight it all blue. So that way I don't click on it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it won't allow me to select it. I'm on an Apple, dude. My Apple does things very weird anyway.
She's trying to start a channel unlimited interest on nail heads. Oh, bitchin'.
That's why it's got a super turbine. Man.
And Mean Street Mopar was up there too, and he's at 304 subscribers right now.
Oh, he's doing it 304 now, huh?
He's at 304.
Okay, so Lori says figuring on using it for a high. Gear vendors can be used under full power.
Okay. Yeah,
SLR,
he told me not to use it.
What is SLR? Only 9.1. Just trying to figure ET gain.
Oh, like what like not with RPM, but how fast you'll go. That's going to be impossible to figure that out.
You can do it with math. You have to do math on it, but you have to figure out how big is the tire diameter. You know, how many inches are in a freaking mile. And you have to do it with math. That's the only way you can do it.
Well, no. She wants to know like if she runs like say a 10-second right now and she changes the gear. But the problem is that you don't know.
You'll never be able to figure that out. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. You'll never be able to figure that out. Here's the reason, because depending on if your engine is ready to RPM, some engines can RPM faster than others at any given. That's why, like when you do a sweep on a dyno, it's like 300 RPM per second. But if you do like say a 500 RPM or 600 RPM per second, the engine sometimes will make significantly less power because some of the rotating parts are heavy. So it's hard to say that. So when you have like say an engine that's 411 and you go to 513, if you don't have the parts that will actually allow that thing to RPM correctly, you might slow it down.
I'm trying to go over to let's see.
You know, maybe what it is with the gear vendor, because I had one, and maybe it was that you couldn't shift it when you're on a double overdrive or when you were towing or something. When you're on a double overdrive.
Okay, bear with me here.
Okay.
When you're on a double overdrive. Okay, can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm over on the tube and I can't shut off the tube sound. I'm over on the tube and I can't. There you go. Okay. We were stuck in a loop. We were in the Matrix.
Oh, you're in the Matrix? Yeah.
I was in the Matrix, yeah, and I was stuck in a loop, and I had to snag the link to go over to Lori's channel from the tube because it wouldn't allow me to do it from StreamYard. So now I'm subbed. So now Lori has 14 subs.
You know what's weird is that Gear Vendor was right down the street from me in San Diego. Like I could see their building.
I drove there 3 times.
Huh?
I drove there 3 times.
Yep.
The first time the Gear Vendor's overdrive was 2,100. Then it was 2,300. The last time I drove there, it was damn near $3,000.
Wow.
And I stopped going because I just couldn't hear this ridiculous numbers. Because every time I start to get the money saved up, it would go up another $600, and I just gave up on it.
Yeah, I was gonna go work for them for a little while, but it just didn't seem like. I mean, literally, I could literally ride a bike to work. It'd been awesome.
Huh. Laura says trying to start a channel, limited interest on nailheads. It's not that there's limited interest, there's limited information. And I'm probably the biggest Buick guy you're going to find on YouTube. And I don't have a big understanding and love of the nailhead. But Buick V8, though, I'm right there with you. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Mean Street Mopar says, thanks, John. Hopefully we can get together soon for the transmission rebuild. I've already subbed to Mean Street Mopar, I think like last year. So
yeah,
I've been
when he came on, I was like, oh, I need to go sub to this guy. And I was like, I'm already subscribed. I'm like,
I think that was last week or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did the same thing. And it's like, oh, I'm already subbed to him too. So let's see. And there you go. Tom Brown, who's a huge Buick guy on here on YouTube, would watch your Nailhead stuff as well. Yeah. So, Lori, you got the good idea. Plus, the Buick Nailhead, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful engines ever made. So,
and that was the second engine I ever built.
Nailhead?
Nailhead.
What? It's like 75,000 pounds on an engine stand, but they are heavy.
Well, I should say the second V8 I ever built. The first engine I ever built was a Volkswagen. The first V8, second V8 I built. The first one was an FE. The second engine I ever built, V8, was a Nailhead. So technically it was a third engine, but second V8.
Well, look at Mostly Old Parts. Ron Ward has shown up here to rattle the cages, get all the sabers moving around, and then run out the door real quick. So he's gonna throw the stink bomb in.
Perfect. He's my man. I love that guy.
What's the best charcoal for smoking chicken? I don't know. I use Kingsford for pretty much everything.
Oh, I use like this. We have this lump coal that I get, and it has no it's literally just like lump coal chicken, and then I put cherry wood or something like that. I think it's cherry wood on top of that just to smoke it.
Let's see.
I use the charcoal to modulate the temperature, and then I use the wood for the actual smoke.
Let's see. Mostly Old Parts. Ron Ward says Tom Brown, the Jericho is such a power sucker. The Power Glide would be preferable depending on your power adder.
100%. Power Glide is the way to go. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Let's see. Michael Schmidt says 84 gear vendor and a dually. That was my plan. See, John Wilburn's already let my cat out of the bag. Dallas Suburban needs a gear vendors to go with my SP transmission. Right.
We almost got a twofer. Almost a twofer.
Yeah. Okay. So, but here's the deal, though, and nobody knows this because I haven't told anybody. But Roland from Torque Racing Productions gave me a call last year. He's trying to sell a 14-bolt full floater axle that's been completely rebuilt, and I bought it from him. And it goes in my Suburban, and it's got a 373 gear instead of a 342. But I'm doing that plus a 455 Buick in the Suburban, back in the Suburban, and then a gear vendors behind that. So I'm going to have a 455 that is built specifically for towing, not just a 455 that I just re-ringed and stabbed in there like before, and throw the gear vendors in there. And I think the thing will comfortably cruise down the interstate at 70 miles an hour at around 2,100 RPM. And I'm thinking it might crest 16, maybe 17 miles of the gallon. Not towing, of course. But, okay. Let's see here. Dylan Levi, is he rattling Ron Ward's cage? Ron, you creating any new content for your announcements about my jalopy? Better be some clever stuff. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
We got a war going on already. Dylan, no. Your Malabusted is going to provide plenty of its own content.
Yeah, right. And here's the thing. Think about it. Ron Ward has months to prepare, and then all it takes is a few passes, and then he can have his content.
Literally one pass. Okay. What will happen if you guys don't know the story, the history behind all this? Ron Ward is the announcer for the No Name Nationals. Dylan Levi is a participant for the No Name Nationals. Dylan Levi has the least amount of passes at anyone for being at all the No Name Nationals, because he will come there with a thing set on nuclear destruction, not just like, set it on kill. But Dylan Levi, if you don't know this dude, he's the one that they invented, turn it all the way up and then break the knob off. That's him.
He's the nuclear. He's the planet killer, right? Instead of the nuclear bomb, it's the planet killer, right?
He will make one blistering ass pass down the track, and it'll be the fastest thing that it's ever ran. But it will not make pass number 2. It can't even generally return from pass 1. But it makes a hell of a pass. And then Ron gives him shit about it every time. And so it's become, I don't know, the kind of the beat down. But I like when these guys kind of start ragging on each other because it's just funny. Okay. Oh, man. Bobby Frizzell says, guy in town has a 55 Ford truck with a nailhead. Looks cool, but I don't know anything about them. They are they're probably closer to an FE than anything else out there, Bobby.
I would agree.
Let's see. Michael Schmidt says, Dallas, that Burbank combo needs to have a sticker on it that says, warning, most rotating weight ever. Oh, I don't get it. What's the Burbank combo?
I think you meant to say Suburban combo.
Oh, yeah, that would be it.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, my Suburban combo. It's going to be a lot. Let's see. Mostly old parts. In all fairness, Dylan is a trooper. He doesn't know the word quit. Much respect for him. However, he's pretty good at making himself a target. He does. And I'm telling you, that one blistering ass pass, I look forward to watching it every year. And I'll tell you what is a good thing that Dylan probably doesn't know about me or Shane, or we have been sitting in the pits every year so far when Dylan makes his one pass. And every time he goes by, it's like, wow, what the hell was that? And then when it doesn't come back down the return road, we know exactly what it is.
But
right?
This year, I happened to be at the fence. I saw.
Oh, did you see it firsthand?
Yes, I did. I did see it go up there, and I was watching it, and I was like, oh, and then Ron announced his halftime, and then I watched it just kind of do this, like it like jumped up, like it did a bunny hop, like it hit the brakes or something.
That's where it locked the motor up.
Well, I didn't know that at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because I thought he was, because he was going too fast, he was going to break out past his cert for his cage, and I was like, oh well, I guess that's pretty smart,
Yeah, excessive braking. That's where you get thrown out of an NHRA event for excessive braking. 38 Racing says, does Turbo Tom have more passes than Dylan? I don't know. Turbo Tom, I think has been down the track twice. I don't know if he's been. That is not more than Dylan. I think Dylan's got 3, maybe 4 passes.
I've brought a different car to No Name Nationals every year.
Yeah, you have, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Well, next year you're going to be there with the same car.
Yes, his first year.
Dylan says listen, I'm an amazing target, but I wouldn't have it any other way. 38 possibly, barring any unexpected surprises, the car should stay together. I'm hoping to see that. I really want to see. Here's what I want to see. I want you guys to go down there and have an enjoyable weekend where you aren't bending over backwards trying to put another motor in it. Right? Yeah. And that you and Brooke can have an enjoyable time. You could take her, get some freaking ice cream in Sykeston. You guys could go to Lambert's and have some fun at Lambert's. You might be able to do some illegal Mexico racing. I don't know. But I'd hate to see you go down there and not have a good time this time.
Yeah. I think I'm going to drive the Cookie Monster to. In fact, I think I am going to drive the Cookie Monster to Lambert's this year.
So, well, you should.
Mm-hmm. You should drive yours too.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have anything to drive at the moment. Mostly old parts. Ron Ward says, No Name Nationals PA crackles. Attention in the pits. Does anyone have a spare LS engine? Please see Dylan Levi at his trailer. Oh, and if you have a 4L60E and a transmission jack, that would be great.
Right. I remember they put that whole engine in, took the one out, swept all the parts, put it together because they're right by our pits. And then they're like, yeah, the transmission's broken. The bell housing's broken. I felt defeated for them, dude.
I felt sorry for him. I did, but it was like, dang, dude, you know what? Turn it down a little bit. You know what I mean? Just turn it down. Okay, it doesn't have to be on murder. What show was that? Murder, Death, Kill. Remember?
Yeah. Here's Brooke. She's actually saying right there. She goes, "Y'all better knock on wood for us. We have broke every year. This year we are not breaking.
Oh, you know what? This is the kind of stuff I love at No Name Nationals. I love seeing you guys there. I love seeing everybody there. It's so much fun. I think I enjoy just hanging out and BSing and really doing nothing important the whole weekend more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't really care if we race or not.
yeah. For me, this year, I'm going to do some match racing this year. So I'll be there. You know what I run. So whoever wants to go, bring it on.
So Dylan Levi says it's got good parts in it. And that's another thing too. Dylan, you know, he knew he can build a lot of horsepower, but he was using stock stuff and we kept giving him crap. And then he finally built a motor with good stuff in it. And I can't remember, it like had some oil pressure issue first start. And then so he took it out, put some junkyard bomb in it again, just annihilated it. It did make the fastest pass it's ever made, but the poor junkyard 5.3 didn't make it much past the 660 mark. Let's see. Dallas Shane, tell us more about the Six Smokies run.
Ooh.
And I'm going to be the navigator. I'm thinking that's it.
And well, here's the thing. It's going to be Plan Z 2.0. So I'm going to take a page from Dallas. I literally am not even going to rebuild that turbo. It feels great. The shaft is there's no movement in it as far as like wiggle. It feels awesome. I'm gonna build the engine and let her eat, and just it is what it is at that point. So I'm looking forward to it. So the route looks awesome, and it's going to be fun, and that just is going to be, it's going to be a whole, like the Edelbrock is putting it on. So my company is, so there's going to be a lot of employees that are going with their race cars. So it's going to be a really fun event.
Well, I'm just going to be along for the ride, and I'll be there with a cold compress when Shane needs his brow wiped off, or and that's about it. I need to take some pictures, some video.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to have, we might go live a few times in the drive.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just answer some questions as we're live.
Yep.
And do the best we can. But to tell you the truth, here's what I'm expecting. Okay. I've watched a lot of Sick Week videos. And I went to Sick Week last year.
It's fun. 6 weeks.
It is fun, but here's the thing. The further it gets from production-wise, the more you see that sucker on the side of the road and the more effort these guys end up putting into the car.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know, just bear with me here. We're going to have a turbocharged Slant 6 in Plan Z that was created in Uncle Tony's garage. Okay. I'm sure the bolts holding the front suspension on have been cross-drilled or gun drilled. I'm almost positive.
Well, I can tell you right now, see where this car's at? I get my truck back here in the next 2 weeks, right? This car goes into the box, Plan Z comes in here, and then the first thing I'm doing is I'm putting a rear end in it, I'm putting subframe connectors, and I'm going to put a roll bar.
I believe you. I think it's probably going to work out great, everything that you do. But you know what's going to happen?
What's that?
We're going to get on the tail of the dragon. We're going to be 5 miles into the tail of the dragon after making a smoldering pass, and the body's going to fall off the front subframe because we didn't replace the bolts holding the front subframe on or something dumb. It's like ultimate weight aluminum gun drilled bolt. You know, it's going to bite us in the ass. I don't know. I'd love to see it go through it and not have any issues whatsoever, but I'm certain there's some kind of wizardry on there that's going to be like, you know, you're going to. What's that noise? You know
the transmission that was in this car, that 904 that's got all the billet shit in it and everything.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna use that tranny. Why not?
The rest of the car's got to make it there, Shane. That's what I'm getting at. Like when the window falls out and the fucking seats come through the floor, you know, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a tough, rough weekend. Like, hey, what'd you guys use to hold the windshield back? And I saw it fall out, like
a strap.
Yeah, bubble gum and zip ties. I can see it. Tranny worked great. Rear end never had a problem. Motor ran flawlessly. Hood, we lost it somewhere in South Carolina.
Back there somewhere.
Yes. It's the stuff that we can't control. That's what I'm really concerned about.
And the best thing about it is I'm going to have a straight hater pipe coming out of the hood with a flapper on it.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
After like 1 hour of riding in that car, we're going to be like, God, we got to put an exhaust on this thing.
We'll probably just we'll go get like a cherry, like one of those like cherry bombs and just stick it on there and call it good.
Yes. Oh, Ron Ward says, Brooke Clark, you're welcome to enjoy the AC in the tower while Dylan replaces pistons and lifters. Heck, I'll even pass the microphone to you. So you have an open invitation to at least sit in the AC this year, Brooke, if you guys don't get a race. And Dylan says, so the car actually wasn't on kill that pass. It was just on its last leg. The bearings had been washed out at the previous event by too much fuel in the oil. Dang. Oh, there you go. Yeah, 38 Racing says that murder, death, kill is demolition man. Maybe that's what we should call Dylan Levi. He should be the demolition man.
Yeah. Murder,
death, kill. On freaking murder, death, kill. So
hey, where's Tony? Where's Tony's Hot Rod Garage? That's a T-shirt right there, Dylan. Murder, death, kill.
5 threes,
5 threes.
Yeah. You should have like Chucky stabbing a 5.3 LS to death.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Brooke says she's going to take Ron up on that. Okay.
Oh, hey, we got a super chat.
Oh, Nick the Van Man.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get to that here in just a second. Bobby Frizzell. Oh, let's see. Ron Ward says, how do you like those Edelbrock carbs so far? I'm kind of jonesing for one myself. So I guess those VRSs are they're starting to become the thing amongst our crowd, right?
Well, they work.
Well, that's what I was hoping to see. I was hoping to see that. Let's see. Bobby Frizzell says his co-pilot backed out on for 6 Smoky, so I'll be rolling solo. Dude, why don't you take if I'm riding with Pulido, that means Pulido's got to come over here and pick me up. Where's that thing start? It starts in South Carolina or North Carolina, the Taylor Dragon?
Hey, yes. No, here's the thing. It's starting in Alabama. My brother's coming. My brother wants to come. So between Dallas and my brother, we're going to be riding. We'll be carpooling together. So we'll switch co-pilots. So we'll just share.
Yeah, we'll just share some navigators, or we can bring Nick the Van Man along. He's just in Nashville. So
yeah, so it starts in Alabama and it kind of goes up and around Nashville. Then I actually just had it up here, but it did. Here, I actually have it right here.
Okay, here, Ron Ward is everybody's kitchen subframe. I'm just like throwing stuff out there. I'm just expecting something to fall off this thing that you don't expect to fall off.
Yeah,
right?
No, they have a K member. I know what he meant. Yeah, they have K members. They don't have subframes. So here, so we start at Rocket City Dragway. Then day 2 is at Music City Dragway. And then we go to Fitzgerald Motorsports Park. Then we go to Knoxville.
Oh, that's cross. Okay. All right. So then Knoxville.
Yep. And then day 5, Friday that's a drive day. That's when we're gonna do the Tail of the Dragon. Then Saturday is at Brainerd. And then we go back to Rocket City on Sunday.
All right. And yes, the Gorilla Tape would hold the windshield in. I'm just saying, I'm expecting stuff to. Does anybody else know the story of this car? Maybe everybody is not aware of the story of this car. The Plan Z Dart was literally a 2-door Dart. It is a 68, right?
67.
67. Okay. It was parked somewhere with like a trunk full of salt. Okay. And then after the trunk full of salt dissolved over like 10-year period, it like fell through the car. And so the car's technically been like, say, acid dipped, but it's done it by nature and time and salt. And so, I mean, I'm literally expecting the horror stories from the 1960s acid dip accidents. where the guy fell asleep with the acid dip car.
Don't eat the brown acid.
Yes, and this is kind of what I'm expecting from the Plan Z. Even though Shane is going to 2.0 it, and it isn't going to have a ton of power, I don't think it would take much, but like a muskrat in the road, like we hit this thing and it's going to fold around this muskrat. If you guys have ever seen this car, this sucker is light.
Now,
it's an
after,
understatement.
After this video, I'm going to drop this on Saturday. Then I'm going to be doing some other little things here and there. But this blue car goes in the box, and then Plan Z comes in here, and then I'm going full bore on Plan Z. And I'm going to make it a little safe for us, safer. I'm going to put disc brakes on it. I have a disc brake for like a 75 Dodge Dart, and it's going to go to the wide 4.5 by 5, 5 on 4.5 bolt pattern. So I'm going to change a few things, but other than that, literally, it's going to have just a few switches to turn things on. It's not even going to have keys for it because I just don't care.
So, Brian at Dust Devil Garage says, "Shane, your Six Smokies video title, what the fuck was that noise?"
Pretty much.
I think it's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun, and we'll be able to dog on, the Plan Z and how it's going. I think it's actually going to be. Shane generally gets his shit in one sock, and I think it's going to be pretty uneventful, to be honest with you. But in my mind, I want to have the fear of the back half of the car falling off or the tail panel, something that's unexpected and weird. We get on the tail of the Dragon and Bobby Frizzell's following us with a camera, and you can see the car flexing like it's made out of aluminum foil as we're taking the curves. That's really 100% what I'm expecting. Yeah. Okay. Nick the Van Man, thank you so much, buddy, for sending $5. Say a man had a car with a turbo 400 and wanted a manual. What's a good manual transmission to swap in place of a turbo 400 for a 5.3 liter, 6,000 RPM engine?
TKX.
Answer, huh?
A good transmission for me, that would be a TKX.
It would be a T10. A T10 is a direct replacement for a turbo 400. It
even
uses the same drive shaft.
Okay.
Same cross member, same mount, and then it uses the same drive shaft.
Yeah. Oh, that in that case, yes, that would be better. For me, a TKX, it's a 5-speed, and it can handle 7,000 RPM shifts and 600 foot-pounds of torque. It's an awesome transmission.
You get a later T10, not like don't get a super T10 with like the 326 gears, but the cool thing about a T10 is they generally have grooves cut in the input shaft. So if you got a 26 spline input shaft, it's a later super T10. But with the grooves cut in the input shaft, you can definitely tell what the gear ratio is right away by looking at it. So all you got to do is look, it's a 3-ringer or it's a 4-ringer, a 6-ringer, a 2-ringer. Then you look that up and it tells you what the gear ratio is. And that's the good part because you don't have to break anything down, and they're available with a myriad of gear ratios. You can find something that's like a 324 first gear. You don't want that turd because if you got a 5.3 that's making like say 400 foot-pounds of torque, and that 324 first gear, it's going to essentially be 1,200 foot-pounds of torque, and it's going to split that T10 open like a boil on life's ass, right? But the sad part is like that super T10 with the first low gear, it probably would make it run good, but you need one that's like the higher you go up in the gear ratio of first gear, the higher it is. Not numerically, but just higher ratio wise, the more torque it'll handle, right? So you get one with like say a 308 first gear or and 308 may not even be enough. Like I got a 264 for my Buick, my 63 Buick, but there's 288s out there, so that might be a good option. Let's see. And Dylan Levi says he wants a VRS, but he don't have anything to put it on. Let's see. Okay, Bobby Frizzell says, Dallas, don't worry. Just get in the car and enjoy. If shit falls off, just keep going. It will be fine. I think that's going to be our plan. That'll be the title is like, what the fuck was that noise? And then, like the second day, the live, like shit fell off and we just kept going.
Yeah. Oh, so someone's talking about disc brakes. Yeah, I actually have some old like 75, disc brakes for like a Dodge Dart. I'm definitely now. I understand that the drums are less drag. I understand they're faster, but we are driving down Tail of the Dragon. Okay, so I want the disc brakes. I'm gonna put them on. It just is what it is.
Oh my God, man!
This is the truth.
Yes. Okay, if Tony thought it was sketchy, I can't believe Shane bought that. There's probably 4,000 coat hangers in that car in a bathtub of Bondo.
Bondo's too much. There's actually no Bondo, believe it or not. It
It
literally
is.
is just
There's
you just cut
nothing
it
on it to
out.
make it heavy at all. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And I remember asking Tony when the first time I saw that car, he says, "You tell me something that's lighter than a hole." And I said, "Well, it just not being there." And it's like, okay, all my stuff's there. It's got a lot of holes in it,
A
right?
lot of
I
holes.
mean, it's actually it probably deserves to be in a museum. And if we make it through 6 Smokies, I think we probably need to have we need to literally go get some first rights done before we go.
Hey, my will's done, and
Yeah.
will's done,
Oh,
and you're one of the beneficiaries.
I'll be done with my divorce hopefully by then.
Yeah.
It's time to go ahead and die, or at least put my life on the line. I don't know. I'm just waiting to see how this is going to go. This is going to be fun. It'll definitely be interesting because I know the history of the car. But let's see.
And when
Old
I
John
built
wants
this
to know
car too,
what time Saturday is your live, Shane?
oh, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to do it like I'm going to do a premiere, or is they called lives or premieres? Is
Premiere.
it a premiere? I'm sorry,
A
it's going to be a
premiere, you can
premiere.
actually watch it with everyone else, and you can get live comments from it.
Okay, so that's what it was. It's kind of like what Mopar Joe did today at like 6 o'clock or whatever it was. I'm going to do the same thing with that. So I'm going to give it a shot. If it fails, it fails, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I don't know. I'll do an announcement and I'll send out a premiere. They can do like I'm going to do it in X amount of hours.
Let's see. Dust of Grush says it wouldn't be fun if in something dead reliable. It will be YouTube gold. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think it'll be fun. Like, I don't know. Hey, get a welder, and then you try to weld it on, and just blows a hole right through it. Like, oh, she's thin,
And here's what I'm going to do too. Is it's going to be like there's going to be nothing complicated on this. The distributor, I literally am welding the distributor block solid, and I have a vacuum advance that I'm going to put on there. So it's going to be locked out at 20 degrees. The vacuum advance is going to go to the carburetor. So when I'm driving around, I'll actually do vacuum advance. The timing, HEI module, Ford coil. How am I going to do the start? I have a trans brake. I'm going to hit the trans brake. I'm going to put the thing to the floor, and I'm just going to allow it to go up on the converter, and then I'm just going to release the trans brake and let her eat. That's what I'm going to do.
I think it'll probably be fine. And to be honest with you, you should probably get like a MSD box with that boost timing management with a dial on it where you can dial it, and you get on the road.
It's going to be a locked out timing on the car. Locked out.
Yeah, I was talking about like when you get going down the road, wouldn't you want to
vacuum advance
comes on? Wouldn't you want to dial like 10 degrees out of it if it's too much?
Well, no, because then the vacuum advance, I'll have it tested before. I know that they want like 15 to 20 degrees of vacuum advance. So when I'm cruising down the road and there's no boost really going on it, it's just cruising. It'll pull out. It'll only be like 35 degrees at that point.
So Bobby Frizzell said he's going to put disc brakes on it. Shit, it's practically a resto mod. Calm down. Yeah.
What's funny is that if me and Bobby are in line, you're going to have a really awesome car with the absolute shittiest car right behind it. It's going to be awesome.
I think it'll actually be really cool.
Yes.
It'll be, and technically, if you think about it, it'll be like No Name Nationals 2025 Part 2. And then, you know what's funny is like literally the week after that, I think, is Cruising the Coast.
Oh.
So, yeah. Michael Schmidt says, what is Tail of the Dragon?
Oh, man.
It is a asphalt road through the Appalachian Mountains that has like 500 something turns in the course of like 30 miles.
It's one of the crookedest roads, like for a length of the crookedest street in the length is actually in San Francisco. I think it's Lombard Street or whatever it is. But this one actually has the most turns for like a certain amount of length.
So apparently this is a 5.3, has 12 cylinders, about 320 foot-pounds of torque. Oh, well, then you can get one of those pretty anemic Super T10s with the crappy gears.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. If it doesn't have any real torque, I don't think it's going to have a problem. Okay. Alrighty. Johnny C. Does it throw your engine into shock by changing from original auto to manual? Always wondered that.
Well,
It has no idea.
Well, yes,
does the engine become stressed from the change? Dumb question of the week.
It's a thrust. The thrust does change because on an automatic you have less. You have a flex plate, so there's literally less on the thrust bearing, right? On an automatic, every time you push in the clutch, excuse me, it adds to the thrust, the thrust bearing. So there's a lot more of that. It's actually moving it back and forth quite a bit. But other than that, no, they don't know. They don't know the difference.
Yeah, it's the transference of power is all it is. Yeah. But I think it, depending on what you have, it can cause like some oil pressure issues if you're in a high mileage engine that's had an automatic behind it for 100-something thousand miles, and then you put a manual behind it.
Yeah,
it loads the crank differently, and so it'll wear a pattern in the bearings for the automatic, and then you put the manual in there, and it doesn't load the crank the same way. They generally bleed out where essentially the bearings have been worn over time.
It throws, like, the crank always is going to try to go forward, but on a manual, it every time you push it in, it actually exacerbates that. It makes it go push whatever the force of the clutch apply. That's how much is shoving it forward. Where on an automatic, it's just kind of floating. So, yeah, that's the only difference.
Okay. And Tom Brown says it's one of the greatest roads in America. Oh no, Dizzy says he's going on this thing too. I guess. Good evening, good people. Bobby's going to be behind behind you on the Dragon. And I'm going to be behind Bobby. I'm watching the dart, doing the bebop around the corner is going to be crazy.
Awesome.
So this is going to be fun.
And I'm going to have I have 90-10 shocks for the front. So it's
I like this right here. Ron Ward says, "Tail of Dragon, dude, you got to take Plan Z down backwards." Have you guys ever seen any of the old Love Bug movies from the 60s?
Yes.
That's kind of what I'm envisioning on this road trip right now. It's like, you remember how the car would tear in half and they would still be going down the track, and then all of a sudden it would merge with the car again. You know, that kind of weird stuff that Disney used to do to the Volkswagen Bug. That's kind of what I'm picturing right now. Plan Z. As we turn around and look behind us, and the floor is falling out, tearing out. You know, Herbie's falling in half. If you've never seen that Herbie movie where the floor is falling out of it and the car is torn in half, that's what I'm envisioning right now. So you're probably not even laughing along. Okay.
Just think, Plan Z is going to get Caltrax with sliders, and I mean, it's going to
have all the stuff.
It's going to have all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to have an 8 3/4 with an aluminum chunk. Think about that, dude.
Dude, we need to put a roll cage in it just so it stays.
I got subframe connectors, and
that'll make it actually way better.
Yes, I'm putting subframe connectors on it, and then I'm going to put a roll bar in it, so it'll be good to 10-0s. So
I'm going to bring a 4x8 sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, and I think everything will be good because we're trying to do this without a trailer. So you like, I got to put my clothes in a bag and put it in the trunk, and I'm concerned that I won't have my clothes.
There's no trunk.
I know there's nothing in there.
It's the ground is the trunk.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at is like this thing sketch. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Frizzell saying, put a rear gear in Plan Z. I want to see a wheelie. Dude, I've got a 456 going in that sucker. It also is the ratio in my transmission I have, it's got a 277 first gear. and I'm probably going to run the 26 diameter tire slicks down the track. So it's going to be 456, 26 tire, and a 277 first. I don't think it will pull a wheelie, but it's I'm going to give it everything she's got.
So Bobby Frizzell gives you a little insight into his mind about a manual to automatic swap or automatic to manual swap. He says that your nuts grow about 3 different sizes.
Yeah.
I do like man pedal racing, you know. And if you didn't know, if you ever looked at my old Ford truck, my old white Ford truck that drove all over the country, that was a Zia 5-speed truck that I swapped in San Diego. It was originally an automatic.
Oh, we got another subscription to check out. And I'm
Okay.
already subscribed. Good. Vintage Adventure Drives. I'm already subscribed. So we're good.
Oh yeah, we've subscribed to that last week.
Yep.
Yeah, he's doing a good job though. He's coming along quite right. 396 subs. It's just 104 away from completing his magic 500.
Hey, go one above that. Ron's asking a question.
Wayment, you are purposely putting additional weight in Plan Z?
Yes, I am, because literally to drive it right now, I've driven some sketchy stuff. That would be pretty sketchy. I'm trying to go into the 6s in this car in the 8th mile. If I can build a Slant 6 that makes about 215 horsepower. I'm going to put 14 pounds of boost to that. That should be about 400 horsepower. So if I can put 400 horsepower in something that weighs down the track 2,500 pounds, that should get me to the 690s. So that's my goal. Whether I can accomplish it or not, I don't know. If I get into the 7s, I'll be happy. But if I can get a 6 out of it, that'd be awesome.
Oh man, let's see here. Michael Schmidt says it's going to be cool to see smoke coming out all those holes in a burnout like Cheech and Chong special.
Right.
I don't know if it would actually have smoke coming out of it. I mean,
oh yeah, it will.
There is no real back of the car.
No,
I believe it's blocked off behind the seat, right?
Yeah, it's blocked out behind the seat.
And so, man, I don't know if you would have any smoke inside the car, but it would definitely be pouring out of the trunk lid and tail panel and stuff.
You know, the crazy thing about it is the old fuel cell that was in the Cookie Monster is going in that car. And that's
where are you going to put it at, though?
I'm going to make a bracket and put it in the trunk.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, you should just pop rivet an aluminum floor in the trunk.
Oh, I'm probably going to. When it gets in here, I'm going to assess it, and then we're really going to, you know, I don't mind making a little extra. I mean, I might even mini tub it too.
Dude, you wanted to make it light. Yeah, I would do above and beyond. I literally would look on Marketplace and see if I can find a fiberglass hood for anything, and I would cut the fucking hood up and put it in the trunk of Plan Z and pop rivet it into place.
He's already cut out all the supports on it. The shit doesn't weigh nothing.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about weight. I'm just talking about when someone opens that trunk up and the wow factor on their face. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, what is holding this up?"
Yeah,
How is this not falling off?
The deck lid literally is just a couple holes. I mean, everything's cut out. It's something you just lift off.
I know. All right.
Danny Boyd says the best one. He wishes that the wheel openings weren't cut out of Plan Z. I agree with you. I think that was cut open because there was literally that was cutting out the rust. I think that's what it was for.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be an adventure and fun, and I can't wait to go on it. But I'm not going to tell my life insurance policy holder until we go. And it can't be Shane. Okay.
Hey man, we've only got like a couple minutes left. This one went fast.
It flew by. Matter of fact, we only got like 20 seconds left. Dang.
Wow.
All right. Well, Bobby Frizzell says I've got some shocks. We drilled a hole and you can put in the front of Plant Z and launch on just the coil springs and shoot a wheelie. Well, it's a leaf, or it's not a leaf spring. It's a freaking torsion bar car.
Yeah.
So we take the springs, or you take the shocks off, man, she'll bounce big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this looks going to be good. Tonight went by so fast. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe those channels that John Wilburn was throwing up there for our No Name 500 community. And we can get these folks rolling in the direction of headed to No Name National, 2025. Also, Friday evening, John Wilburn will be live. Normally, let's see who's live right after us. Buff and Kim.
Yep, usually.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Tony's Hot Rod Garage in here, but he's also generally live right after John on Fridays. So,
but he hasn't done it this year.
He hasn't, huh? Okay.
No.
We do appreciate everybody coming by because we wouldn't be able to keep the lights on without you. Thanks for stopping by. And hopefully we talked about something that you learned something, or we didn't rot your brain.
Yeah.
But until
and on Saturday, I'll put up a link. At, when the premiere is coming, I'll do it sometime Saturday morning, so everyone's got it coming up. But yeah. And Schmidt, I'll check my emails. I will. It's on a different computer and it's inside the house.
And here's Ron Ward saying, gum drilled torsion bars.
Dude, I wouldn't surprise me.
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be something weird that's just totally we didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And as Mohawk 62 says, have a great night, everyone. Thanks for the live, Dallas and Shane. We will see you guys next week.
Yep. You guys take it easy. Have a good week.